Welcome back to another episode of Sound Pals Go to the Movies. This is another Throwback Thursday review, and today I will be reviewing the movie Convoy. And just a fair warning, there's going to be spoilers up ahead, so you've been warned. Truckers form a mile-long convoy in support of a trucker's vendetta with an abusive sheriff, based on the country song of the same title by C.W. McCall. So let's begin with my first pro. The main story behind the movie is of truckers versus the sheriff, Lyle. Wallace can be seen as the common blue-collar workers versus the government or the whole system. You see how the sheriff is setting up traps for Rubber Duck and the other truckers. An example is when he pulls them over and says, well, I can cite you for speeding. That will cost you this much and that will increase your insurance, or you can just pay me this much. In this situation, he even goes as far as saying that he's trying to help them by doing what he's doing, and that is his job. This is pretty much how people see the government work. It benefits only a select few while making the lower income classes bear all the weight, and they still say we are doing it because it will benefit you later on. I think this is why the movie is loved by many people, because it shows the common folks rising up and fighting against the system, plain and simple. Next pro, the big names we see in the film: Chris Christopherson, Ali McCraw, Burt Young, Ernest Borgnine. All these names made the movie well known, and also they have one-liners that are really good to quote in this movie. I'm sure that some of these were rather attractive actors to fans back in the day when this movie was released, and that also played a lot in the people going to go see the film, while other actors just had the fame for being in other movies that were well known at the time. So this film had some star power that helped it out a lot, and thus this movie became a top grossing film of the time. And now moving on to my cons. Not a con, but just a simple small fact that this movie was based on the song Convoy, as I stated before, by the singer C.W. McCall. But at first the song he recorded was in 1975 and had nothing to do with the movie from 1978. But McCall then rewrote the lyrics to the song that was played at the end of the film that did have somewhat to do with the movie. So there are two recordings of the same song out there. I bet some people still did not know that fact. They're either familiar with one or the other. So the con about the song is that it begins with a serious deep toned voice telling you a story, and you're following it until you get to the chorus, which seems to me that was really out of place. It was lively and too cheery, and thus is why I think it doesn't really fit with the rest of the song. So it's like two songs put together. Maybe the idea was to make a song similar to the Hot Rod Lincoln, or maybe even A Boy Named Sue. But the chorus ruined this country song for me, in my personal opinion. Next con, the length of the film was almost 2 hours long. This was a bit long for me, since I could tell that it could have been an hour and a half if some scenes did not linger long and they were cut, or they even used some different angles, since the main story was truckers going from one place to another being chased by cops. The next con is the editing. This movie had really bad editing, in my opinion. Take the bar scene for example. The constant changing angles and the slowing down of the film speed really doesn't lend well to the fighting scene. Also, in most of the movie, there's the added voiceover that doesn't really match well with the scenes, or even some extra lines that they wanted to add don't really fit. I can remember some lines from Burt Young when he is trying to be funny, but in the end, they are just not needed. Or even when they added the grunts in the bar fight, they really seemed they were out of place and weren't thought out. Next con would be the lack of the backstory to Rubber Duck. Some may argue that it is left vague to represent everybody that feel they are up against the world, or make it easier for people to identify with the character. Some may even hint that him and the sheriff might have been truckers before the sheriff went another route, or they might even be related in some way. But I still would have liked if the other characters shared stories about him with Melissa, the lady in the Jaguar. So that way, we as the audience could actually have some idea of what his past was, or some of the other stunts that he pulled against the sheriffs. So my grade for this movie is going to be a 5.5 out of 10. The fact that the movie is based loosely on the song by the same name, which then made the singer go back and re-record another version of the song with different lyrics to match the movie, is a bit weird, but the message that this movie carries about people versus an establishment is a good message that will never fade and stay true, and just like the truckers, they will keep on trucking along. But I had to drop the score due to the camera work and the editing, and also the voiceovers that were added, which really don't fit at all. So that does it for this review of Convoy. Please join us next time where we're going to review Smokey and the Bandit.
There's no way that you could come from my loins. Soon as I get home, the first thing I'm gonna do is punch your mama in the mouth.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can find our social media links below. And like always, keep watching movies.